What's up, RegTech fans? So I want to talk about Upwork today. They are in the news, and not for a good reason. I'm actually logged into my Upwork account here. I've used the platform before. I got a couple projects on here, probably like 4 or 5 years ago. I did some employer branding work back in the day, kind of right after my corporate recruiting days back in like 2017-ish. And I did a project for a company in the Philippines and things like that. But lately, I mean, my profile's been on there, but I've never gotten pinged in the last 3 or 4 years for any of that work. But let's talk about it because an investor, Engine Capital, has called out the company's leadership with this long letter they put out as a press release, which I'm going to cover here today. But first, let's take a look at the stock because Upwork, I put them in the same bucket as a ZipRecruiter when it comes to stocks here. Essentially, they're all job markets, job marketplaces, job boards, whatever phrase you want to use there. But their stock has been down pretty bad the past 2-3 years. Back in the post-COVID days when everyone was hiring remotely, of course, it was up in the 50s, $50 ranges, close to 60 almost. I think $54 was the high, I believe, back like 2-3 years ago. And now it's just trading in the $10 range. Hasn't really even sniffed $20 since at least 2 years ago. So their stock's not doing well. And, for any kind of, when you're looking at stocks with any kind of job marketplace business, you're looking at seasonal and just basically seasonal trends here with it because hiring ebbs and flows. And that shows up in the company's earnings. So as an investor, you really need to know that going into it. If you're going to invest in a ZipRecruiter, in an Upwork, in a Fiverr, in who else, you got to expect ups and downs in the job market, and that means finances for the revenues for those places are going to go up and down over time. They generally come back, but it is a cyclical business, and you need to realize that going in. So I'm not sure how much Engine Capital expected about that. But in any case, let's take a look at what they say in the letter. This is kind of unprecedented too. I mean, you don't see a lot of this happening in HR tech where the investor calls out the company's leadership because of essentially the poor stock performance, or the poor shareholder value that they're potentially generating or not generating. It says, "We are writing to you today because we believe the company has a great deal of potential that is unfortunately not being realized. This is due to Upwork's lack of strategic clarity and focus, ineffective execution, poor capital allocation, and revolving management team under CEO Hayden Brown. We also question whether the board is appropriately holding senior management accountable for its numerous missteps. In this letter, we outline our concerns with the company's current trajectory and highlighted the opportunities we see for the board to turn around the business and significantly increase shareholder value." So they're not happy here with what Upwork has been doing lately from a business standpoint here. It shows in the stock, and frankly, it shows in the product too. You just don't, I'm not that impressed with the product. We'll get into that in a minute, but itself. But let's continue on with the letter here. They interviewed a bunch of former employees, more than 20 of them. These discussions made clear that many of the company's issues are self-inflicted and attributable to senior management. And those issues are below: lack of strategic clarity and focus. And you go on hrtechfeed.com and read this letter. Instead of pursuing a clear, consistent strategy and committing the necessary resources behind it, the company appears unfocused and unable to prioritize initiatives. Former employees spoke about a scattershot approach to product development, with engineering resources spread too thin because too many projects are being pursued simultaneously. New products are frequently introduced with great fanfare on earnings calls, only to be never heard of again, a likely sign of insufficient traction. So that's one there. Poor execution they talk about. Despite spending north of $780 million since 2019 on research and development, that's like almost $200 million a year. The platform continues to suffer from many functionality issues that prevent broader freelancer and client adoption. Now, I'm on Upwork, and in the past 6 months, I would keep getting these messages saying my profile has been deactivated even though I didn't deactivate it. So I have to go back onto the platform and just click a button or something in order to quote, stay active on the platform. I just logged in now for the first time in a couple of months. It seems to be active, but I never know, right? And so that's one issue I've had with the site over the years. And also, there's just not that many projects on here, and there's a lot of crap on here as well in terms of just spam projects. Like they have like under the HR consulting category, which is generally what I'm only interested in. They've got like job search consultant for a real estate financial professional. Like, why are job seekers posting projects on here? That makes no sense to me. If I'm on Upwork, it just seems like the wrong type of project here overall. So there's some really weird stuff on here, and like at least one here, $8 to $10 an hour. Who's gonna bid on that for LinkedIn enhancements, right? It's just really weird projects outside of technology, right? And that's one of my other issues about Upwork is they've really done a poor job expanding into other markets, into HR, into marketing, and other industries where freelancing, where people want to freelance, but don't have the opportunity to do so because they don't have any, good sources like this to do that. So I really think that almost every industry is going to have freelancers in it. Upwork should be targeting those industries specifically and creating, communities here around different industries to freelance in if I were them, right? So there's some free advice for the Upwork leadership team. But let's get back to the letter here. What else do they say? Poor execution, I mentioned that. Poor capital allocation. Former employees spoke to us about the culture of waste and poor financial discipline under Ms. Brown. On the product development side, the company has a long list of speculative projects which have questionable return instead of focusing on a few high conviction, high ROI projects. This lack of discipline can be seen with the significant $100 million plus brand marketing investment, which appears to have been made with little testing. Okay. Significant management turnover, lack of stability among the company's senior management team raises additional questions regarding Ms. Brown's leadership. Ms. Brown is now effectively on her third management team in 4 years. This turnover has occurred in several crucial roles, including the CFO, head of engineering, chief product officer, etc. The board may be tempted to dismiss our assessment, they say, as a result of discussions with disgruntled employees. This would be wrong, they say. Since Engine's founding 11 years ago, we have never heard such consistent frustration from so many employees regarding senior management. That's a telling line right there. We believe Upwork is at a crossroads, it says. Boards need to rapidly make changes to give Upwork a chance at succeeding, or the platform risks becoming increasingly irrelevant. Those are harsh words right there. And yes, they're right, I think. If you don't focus on product in the job market space, and you're not constantly trying to bring value to both the freelancers on the platform and the employers, then you're at risk of becoming irrelevant. It happened to Monster. It happened to Career Builder. The names go on, right? You've really got to focus here and do what you do best, which is connecting freelancers with projects. I don't see that too much either from Upwork lately. They need to improve the basic functionality of Upwork's Marketplace. Yeah, I mean, look at this. This is a pretty basic search for job. Why does it search for jobs? You should be search for projects. You're a freelancer. You're not looking for jobs. You're looking for projects. But it's a very basic interface here. I don't like how the profiles are set up. They're just not intuitive. They should be more LinkedIn-like. I'm just not a huge fan of Upwork overall. This profile really hasn't changed much over the years from my perspective. Again, I'm not a huge user of haven't been on here a lot over the last few years, but it just seems like it's the same old stuff overall. What else is but the Engine Capital does give you, in the letter they wrote about, okay, here's what you need to do to turn around the company. They want more features for enterprise clients. There's not enough product differentiation for companies to become and stay enterprise clients. Many larger corporations simply use the marketplace offering or sign up for enterprise, but don't use it. For enterprise to succeed, there needs to be a compelling value proposition that attracts and retains large employers. So they really want to go after enterprise. Um, right now, there's an enterprise division and a marketplace division. Marketplace is essentially for just a company as a quick project to get filled and done, versus enterprise, which is much more ongoing. They want them to hire a sales force with experience selling to C-suite executives. While Upwork has floundered, TopTal, another competitor, has achieved significant success in enterprise by hiring experienced sales reps. We believe Upwork can be successful by hiring fewer of these more experienced representatives, which would limit the expenses that typically come with investing in senior sales employees. They want to further optimize the company's cost structure. Um, they want to utilize Upwork's strong capital position to aggressively buy back undervalued shares. Strengthen the board, adhere to best corporate governance practices. So I'm not happy with the board either. Align executive compensation to shareholder value compensation. Upwork has the capabilities to compete and disrupt the staffing industry with a unique value proposition. They do. Faster hiring, greater access to quality talent, and meaningful cost savings. We firmly believe a tremendous amount of shareholder value can be unlocked if the board acts with urgency to make the necessary changes. And they request a meeting with the board of directors at their earliest convenience to discuss these matters. Now, on Friday, Upwork pushed out a press release responding to this letter from Engine Capital. And here's what that says. Upwork issued the following statement in response to a letter from Engine Capital to Upwork's board of directors. It says, we are focused on the right core value drivers of the business and are making demonstrable progress, it says. They list a bunch of things they're doing, some cost savings in there, profitability. I don't see much in there about the product itself. It's more about just financial stuff. As we execute against our strategic priorities and growth profitability goals, we look forward to continuing to engage with all of our shareholders. That's about it. So they're fighting back a little bit here. Upwork is, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of what's going on here with Upwork. I'd love to hear your feedback out there. If you're a corporate recruiter, have you ever used them? What's your take on all this and experience with Upwork? I'd love to hear from the audience. Yeah, but if you're a freelancer as well, what do you like or not like about the product? Love to hear that stuff. So that's it for now. It's a quick screencast on the trials and tribulations of a freelance job marketplace. So thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time on RecTech.